Welcome back to the PGL Asia Minor Championships 2017. Our second semi-final of the upper bracket is well underway, and Immunity have the lead. If you're just joining us from Australia and New Zealand, what is it now? Good afternoon, possibly? G'day, mate. It is sometime in the afternoon for you guys. Welcome. You are prime position right now to enjoy some great Australian and New Zealand Counter-Strike, because they are just one game away from joining their fellow Australian team, Renegades, in the upper bracket final, which will assure us of having at least one of those two teams make it to the offline qualifier for the major. It's such a confusing system, I know. A number of people have said to me, where do they go after this? We thought they'd go to the major. Unfortunately, no. They still have one more qualifier to get through. And don't forget, some of these teams have already been through qualifiers to get to this qualifier. It's like qualifierception. Anyway, we're back at the desk once more. Let's preview our second map as we head into it with Dust and with Natu. Natu, what are we looking forward to here? Is this Immunity's match to lose now?
I mean, obviously they've taken the advantage, beating Flash on their home court, and now they get to go to overpass, something they seem to be fancying. I wasn't overly impressed by the overpass when they were playing against Mongols, to be honest with you. Sure. It was very, very raw. There was nothing spectacular in terms of the way they were approaching it. It was very much just team play / individual play / aim heavy kind of a play style, which I don't think really suits overpass that well. You know, you need to be have quite a tactical approach to it. But it worked against Mongols. Not sure how it's going to work against Flash, because we don't have a lot to go by. The only game they play with this lineup is against VG. They did beat them, but again, you know, there's so little we know about Flash's overpass that it's hard to judge. But then again, you know, they've shown us glimpses of having the capability of playing a very, very deep depth Counter-Strike, and that suits overpass quite well. So in that sense, you know, this could be a map where they could prevail. But then again, we just saw how Flash can also crumble and play some horrible plays as well. So this was really hard to judge, to be honest.
They've got the tactical nuance to be able to do it, haven't they? They've certainly got the player to be able to pull tactical wins out, but it's a tough map to do it on.
Yeah, I think Overpass is actually kind of stale in the sense of like what you can actually do. Short of a few different variations of B executes, like a utility placement, it's mostly just about being able to play a 3-1-1 default and making mid-round transitions, like using connector to fight back and forth between what site you want to go to, just like playing like good fundamentals and just making good reads. Because obviously CTs can make fast rotations on this map, so trying to manipulate that can be quite difficult. So I think it comes down to mid-round reading and like picking up on tendencies, which is something Karsa is usually pretty good at. The problem is coming into this tournament, Wizard had never played Overpass with the Immunity, but they've played it a couple times here with him, and they've done well. So maybe Karsa's looked through that film in the Mongols matches. But like you said, for Flash, they've only played it once online, to qualify for this, and that's it. So there's not a lot of info out there for me to like tell you about, because it's a very small sample size. But obviously, they finally got tested once today, and they failed that test, I think. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can recover or not in Overpass.
They just play 3 toilets, right?
That was the Mongols' way to go about it. Why not? You may as well try it. Or just go with 3 entries. That seems to be the Mongols' way as well. I mean, who needs support players? 1 lurker, 1 in-game leader, 3 guys just going entry fraggers. Okay.
We're back to Immunity doing the huddle right now. Worked for them in game 1. I guess they're hoping for the same thing as they head into game number 2. Isn't it extraordinary, Natty, that we're sitting here on the verge of an all-Australian upper bracket final?
Yeah, we were looking forward to an all-Chinese upper bracket final, to be honest with you. So I wasn't expecting it for sure. But then again, I think the differences between these teams are not that big, right? So a few rounds here and there is going to make the difference always. So it wasn't completely unthinkable. Or it isn't completely unthinkable.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, Dust? They are relatively evenly matched. On a good day, any team can beat another team. We saw Signature take a game off Renegades yesterday, or day before last, in Group A. So when one of these teams has a bad day and the other team has a good day, that's usually enough to flip the score, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reason why a lot of people are behind Flash is because they know Karsa is really good tactically. They know they've had a lot of time to prepare, right? They haven't had to play a whole lot. They haven't had to show a whole lot, so they've been able to just focus on practice and preparing for this event, because this is like their debut, right? And so that really helps, whereas Immunity, dealing with a little bit of a lineup change, having to sort that out. But I will say Immunity in their own right are also very good tactically. I think Aircast does a great job calling for this team. I think some of their struggles yesterday really just kind of came down to falling flat as opposed to making mistakes. mistake. So I think they're certainly capable in that department. And right now, they seem to have better form out of their star players. Like, Wizard was doing great. Moe had a big clutch and played great. They were more firing on all cylinders as opposed to, like I said, outside of attacker. I wasn't really seeing a whole lot out of the guys over on Flash on a consistent basis in the first map.
I actually think they're getting away a little bit by the individual effort from the players, to be honest with you. Like, for example, in the last round of that game, they go for a B push against A. They know it's going to be hard on, like a half by, potential shotties, CZs, the UMPs and the likes, and they go for a straight up B play without even kind of trying to understand what their opposition is doing. It goes into a 2-on-4 situation, and then you got that clutch in the end that immunity takes immunity over the finish line. So I mean, I don't think they're tactically like that amazing or anything. They're doing okay in that sense, but I think it's their individual skill right now and how they manage to play in those situations once the actual initial strategies played out into 2-on-2s, into 2-on-3s, and the likes, where they prevail. And I think that's been the difference maker for them.
Okay, I'm hearing that the players want a few more minutes before they start this second map, so why don't we check in with our social media questions. We haven't had one of those for a little while. Do make sure you keep posting on the Reddit thread as well if you would like the questions answered by any of our panel members this afternoon. This next one is, which Mongols player would you swap out and who would you replace them with?
Well, with my deep knowledge of the Mongolian scene and all the players that are available to them,
Zilkenberg?
I think that makes
Bring
sense, right?
Zilk back.
Yeah,
Let's start the hashtag right now.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, Zilkenberg and Machine Gun were like the duo at IEM Taipei, where we're like, both these players are super sick. Like, they're clearly like very skilled players, and so it kind of hurt when you see that Machine Gun comes in. Okay, great, you're bringing him back into his comfort zone, a team he's very familiar with, where he performed his best at after the failed Splice experiment. But then you did it for Zilkenberg, so it's kind of weird. That would be the case. Also, it's really difficult because I know that Mongols has made so many roster changes between IEM Taipei and today, including NCL, who's been in and out of the team. There was this guy named Mara who was in the team, and now apparently he's their coach. So they've had a lot of roster changes happen. I think there's probably been 10 or 11 different players that have played for Mongols in the last year and a half or so. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I think Zilkenberg makes sense, though, from what I've seen.
But you wouldn't know who to put out? I mean, NCL played okay. Dobu was pretty good.
He's also their in-game leader, from what I understand. So you got to think that Dobu was playing pretty well.
Machine Gun was okay.
I don't think any one of them was playing like relatively bad or anything. I'm still going to stick to my guns and say, like we said before, that they could use a Western coach, basically, someone with a different kind of insight to the game.
That and Zook was the main op for the team, right? And now it seems to dance around between different players. Like Machine Gun sometimes even has the AWP, and he usually is the one that has the most impact with it. If you bring in an impact AWP, you free up Machine Gun to be more full-time rifling. I think that could also, work out quite well.
Time now to head over to our commentary team. Them hearing the players are all on the server and almost ready to go. So let's get into game number 2 and see whether Immunity can capture it all and head to the upper bracket final.
Immunity on the brink, as Paul just said, of going through to the upper bracket finals. It would be a shock for them to be joined alongside Renegades. Don't think many people would have called that one. It's almost topsy-turvy.
It is topsy-turvy.
The other way around, but that would make for one hell of an elimination match as well if it was Tyloo versus Flash in the lower brackets.
I don't think anyone would have seen that coming.
No.
I wasn't. I don't think anyone of us, when we were actually making our way to the studio, and we were like, okay, it's going to be an all-Chinese affair. It's going to be basically Immunity facing off against Renegades, but we've been proven wrong, and Immunity, well, it was a scrappy game on map number 1, but this is going to be Overpass. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. We've only seen Flash play Overpass once, and it was during the Asia Minor qualifier, and where they faced off against Vici Gaming, where they won pretty convincingly, 16-7. One of the better teams in China, if I might add. So we really don't know what they have in store for us. Immunity, pretty decent team on Overpass as well. I think it's going to be, again, a very close affair. But for Immunity, this is a great opportunity just to close it out. Take it 2-0 and, just go to the upper brackets and face off against their countrymates. And for Flash Gaming, well, a lot of work to do here.
And something else to keep in consideration, Immunity showed great grit, great tenacity coming back at the start of that. At one stage, it was 8-1 in favor of Flash Gaming on their CT side, and Immunity came back to win. So we know these are a team that even if they do go behind early doors, even if they are struggling, they're never going to be counted out entirely. They always have that potential to come back into the game.
Absolutely. So, Immunity, It's going to be Urcast once again, the utility guy, and look at it just barreling straight into short, and it's going to be Moe finding Lovey boosted up, and they're going to just group up together and trying to find the last guy there who's trying to make his escape, and it's going to be Carson not able to get the kill. He's going to get taken down. Attacker alive on 1 HP, and look at Fancy just barreling out like a madman. He gets a kill, but the Wizard has been spotted out, and yet Attacker not looking in this general direction. I thought he would have been looking where he was boosted up there, and Moe will have no trouble getting the flank right, finds Fancy, and Immunity a very, very quick, no-nonsense push into the B bomb site.
And I love that. I love that they are starting this map off in very aggressive ways and very aggressive fashion. Of course, Flash will be coming straight through with a force-up of their own, standard, nothing out of the ordinary there. Summer does have a UMP, and again, for those of you that are curious, we have touched on this a couple of times. Summer, also known as Fancy One, kind of dart back and forth. I think he has like officially changed his name now. At least that's my understanding.
What are your thoughts on a player who's pretty well known, who's built his brand up, and now is and he suddenly just for no reason whatsoever just changes his nickname?
Doesn't really make sense to me. Yeah. It's like well known that maybe he can pull it off. I'm not sure. But either way, he is the only player that has really a primary weapon in his hands, and as a result of that, they have very little utility. That smoke's been thrown out, and that's pretty much all they have. They don't even have a kit.
Yeah, this is going to be rough. Kaze has gone for the Deagle. Obviously, he's going to be going for the op buy as soon as possible. He was looking very shaky indeed on Inferno, but obviously he'll be looking to forget that and try and make something work on map number 2 here. Immunity are walking into a 4-man stack. This could get rough here.
Entry is going to certainly help matters, though. Summer straight back with a kill of his own, and Lovey with the CZ. Does do a bit of damage as well to Gratisfaction, who will come through with the AK. 50 seconds, so much time left, and Lovey with the CZ again. Seems to be quite a powerhouse with this weapon, but the Deagle's going to rout Lufford Kaze, who had a very slow start to Inferno, is turning up the heat here on Overpass. 1-to-1, Immunity flat out broke.
He just like walked in and found both the terrorists not looking in his direction. Just that round. Immunity, a very interesting decision from them just to barrel into the B bomb site without having any information whatsoever. They knew they had to know at least a couple of guys there, but the fact that they went in, they should have known Flash. It's Asian teams. They usually go for the force buys. It could have been a B stack. It's something which you see quite often, and he just walked in there. That was, I'd say, it was more of Immunity kind of just shitting the bed.
Fair statement. It wasn't the greatest round. That is certainly safe to say. And somewhat the FAMAS showing that weapon is still relevant in some cases. Of course, it was Immunity as well. They went for the force in this round. That should be mentioned. So this is going to be very painful for them. Hello.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What is happening here? How are they just going to face him one by one?
He's got 4 kills.
He does have 11 health, though, but it seems to me he's going to get this bomb planted. Carcer thinks it's an A hit, and it's not. This is unbelievable.
I don't even... God, okay.
And we were kind of talking over it because you just assume in that situation he's dead. He's surrounded by CTs. He has nothing really going for him. And now, fast forward just 20 seconds, he's got the bomb planted. He's got a chance.
I don't think he heard him out. Oh, when Carcer jumping and gets the wall bang in, but Burn 1v4 gets 3 kills, gets 4 kills in the round, and they get the bomb done. Yes, it was a force buy, and they're not going to be very happy that they didn't win the round. But considering how it looked there, getting 4 kills, that's huge. After Fancy got the opening 3 kills, that is just massive indeed.
What is Urkas doing there? He actually ran straight past.
I'm a little lost as well. But yeah, Burn, credit where it's due. He does get the bomb done, and because of that, they will go for the buy. Actually, did they go for the armor buy?
Some of them did, yeah. Tech 9 and armors. I think that's purely off the back. If Burn RUK doesn't get any kills there, I don't think that we see a buy here. But instead, they know that Flash Gaming have just depleted all their funds. They know that they are very vulnerable at this stage.
Yeah. And we do see the op out on Kaze once more. Utility is going to be kind of poor for Flash Gaming. They don't have any incendiaries to work with. Carson is the only guy with a kit as well. They do have 4 smokes and just a handful of flashbangs. And for Immunity, though, the bomb plant really helping them out. They have a decent summer utility to work with. Smokes and flashes not yet used yet. And spreading it out, just trying to find something. As Flash Gaming, they're going to be giving up a lot of map control really early on, not really looking to aggress towards connector. Although Fancy, I thought he was going to be pushing a little bit deeper than that, but he's just going to hold the line. He does have backup as well. 3 guys playing towards, actually no, just 2 guys are towards A. But of course, it is Kaze with an AWP playing right in front of Bank.
Slow and steady wins the race for Immunity, it would seem. They are not going to be pushing too aggressively this round. Flash Gaming have to very much respect this. There's someone with 1, but he's going to get traded out. Definitely worthwhile for Immunity, especially as we're getting towards the dying embers of this round. 25 seconds now on the board. Kaze's been smoked out of position. Can't see a single thing. And this could be the green light for Immunity to get on the site and get this bomb planted. A huge position of the truck is going to get whittled away. His attacker bites the dust, and now the bomb will go down. This is looking horrible for Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing so very passively. And Fancy, even though he got the kill, they just barreled their way into the site. And those 2 smokes completely smoking off Flash Gaming. And although it was a 4v4, an attacker not able to get a single kill, leaving his team in a slight disadvantage here. It's going to be Lobby, gets 1. Trades coming in there real quickly. Now it's a 2v2, and the AWP on Kaze needs a shot. What a shot in the burn, though. It's all in Gratisfaction. 1v2, there's not much time remaining. Kaze has got the kit, though. He needs to try and stick this, and it's going to be Gratisfaction. Peers around the corner and gets the 1v2. Easy as you like it.
Yeah, it's a stick clutch from Gratisfaction, but I think Kaze is going to be bitterly disappointed because he did hear the AWP rattle off. He did have a shot at Gratisfaction there, and it just missed, and that cost him the round. But again, though, that was what, a 4v3 retake was on the cards for Flash Gaming. They come through, get kills where it counts, and make it a possibility. Issue is, though, so close yet so far, they're now into a force of their own. The CT side has been a very rocky start, to say the least.
It's kind of the story of this game, this entire matchup, though. It's just been very back and forth. I mean, although initially, like on Inferno, it looked really one-sided in the early parts of the first half. But very back and forth game here. As Flash, like mentioned, CZ's is not really worked out for them on Inferno. And this time around, it's going to be where Kaze is, but CZ of his, but it's going to be the A hit coming out. Perfect anti-eco play coming out from Immunity here, just pushing in from A long, and Burn was going to jump around the corner, find Summer. And that is going to be the bomb getting planted. However, there is a flank coming in, but Wizard is ready and waiting for Kaze. 3v5, it should just be trying to hold on to their weapons here.
I think so, but Attacker goes in while the rest of his team seems happy enough to just sit back and wait. They're in a very sketchy position here as well. Because of the smoke that's on the dumpsters, they pretty much have to turn tail and move away, but in doing so, they're not entirely sure where these pesky terrorists actually are. They could be walking into death anyway. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, ultimately their end goal is to save these 2 weapons and to come through into the next one with something to speak of.
The money is looking quite abysmal indeed. It is Overpass. It is a map which, while highly, you know, it is a slightly more tactical map, I would say, compared to certain other maps. I know, okay, never mind.
Lovely's like, let me just hide here, underneath the bomb. Oh, I'm dead. All right, solid. Well, NT on the save, mate.
They do save the M4. They
did save the M4, which is the most important weapon, of course. But yeah, I don't know. Just that creased me a little bit.
But yeah, Immunity in the lead here, 3-2, and they have the open Gratisfaction. I can get no. Karsa, though, with the M4, he's a sole player. He's a guy with the armor as well. The rest of his teammates have gone pretty much for fully good. Karsa's got to go full Bentet here, as he is going to be blinded. Hasn't spotted out, but he's going to peek around the corner. But what a spray from Wizard. Quite magical. And what was he shooting at there?
Only he knows, mate. Only he knows. Kaze is going to go down, though, in bathroom. Urcast and Gratisfaction both very low, but this surely going the way of Immunity.
Yeah, Deagle, Peter 50, and the USP remaining 3v5. Although Urcast and Gratisfaction are hemorrhaging pretty badly. So they could at least get a couple of consolation kills, but Immunity shouldn't throw this one away. 4-2 should be the scoreline here. Flash Gaming, I'll be honest, they're looking a little lost, to be honest. Like, does Foe Spy something which you wouldn't expect from this team in particular? Like, if you saw Tyloo do it or Mongols, I'd be like, yeah, you know, it's kind of standard. That's what they would probably go for. But Flash Gaming with a very questionable half-bar.
Well, certainly not. I mean, they're eyeing up a 2-4 start. and Wizards decides that Burn UK is hogging the limelight too much, taking his kills. Get wrecked. It does mean they're going to have to replenish, I think it may have been an AK or a UMP, but still, the damage has been done. Immunity will be taking this round. Lovey in hot pursuit with his P250, looking for some kills. Aim punch really can be a nightmare.
Indeed, so the M4 lost as well. However, they will be able to go for the buy, although... I think he was going for the shot towards the tree there.
Yeah,
I think that's what I was doing. A little confusing there. And Wizard did get a team kill as well into Burn, but in the end, not much of a problem. The money is looking very solid here for Immunity. 7th round, and they haven't, like, what, 4 guys at about $6,000. That's huge for them. For Flash Gaming, Kaze with the AWP, they make it up. He's going in with no clothes on. It's just gonna look. Let's see what he does with this. Kaze playing towards long. 3 guys over at B. And Immunity just slowing things down a little bit. They know it's another buy round coming from Flash Gaming. They just need to wait it out. You know, just draw out all the utility. They should know the money's not going to be that great. Not much utility to work with. Just draw out the utility because they have so much time to work with as well. And yeah, they're just doing right that.
Thing is though, Blair, you said there that Kaze has no clothes on. I can't help but feel that if a man's running at me with a massive gun in his hands and he has no clothes on, I'm probably just getting the hell out of there. That is a nope. That is a nope moment.
But then it is Immunity, and we saw some of the plays that they pulled off in Inferno. So these are men who have no fear whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, naked man with no with an AWP. I don't care. I don't care. I'm still gonna take it on. But Summer is gonna fall. Summer is over. Grass Faction will get the opening kill. Kaze is all alone in the A bomb site. Although, luckily for him, it looks like Immunity are going to be coming towards B. Or maybe not, I'm not sure here. This is a little interesting. Yep, the C4 is making its way towards Connector. Oh, but look at that play. They've really fallen for this. They've fallen for that fake. Just a couple of smokes, couple of flashes, and look at that. Attacker just threw the smoke. He finds one, gets 3 kills. What is this? In the flames, Grass Faction finally lands a shot on the Attacker. What is going on with his Lovey with the M4? Chimes in the frag of his own as well. It's all down now in the Gratis Faction with 13 seconds remaining on the clock. The bomb is dropped in the middle of nowhere. Great flashbang there, and he's just going to fall back. What was that from Attacker?
At this stage, nothing surprises me anymore. I think I've finally been desensitized to Asian CS. The MP7 of all weapons just cleaning up. Surely the call came that he was close next to smoke. They would have heard the gunfire there, but they seem to be pre-firing on the back side of the pillar.
You seem to have achieved a level of zen that most people
Yeah.
want, yeah.
Just go with the flow now, mate, you know. You see something wacky, expected.
The timing was just pristine though from Attacker. That is just massive, absolutely massive. And with that, Flash Gaming somehow get another round on board. Immunity, however, they do have the money to work with, so AKs all around. The AWP once more on Gratis Faction. He's been actually getting a lot of great opening kills with a big green gun here.
He has, yeah, to be fair to him. And it's one of the reasons why in the early stages of Inferno, where they actually went for buys a little earlier, not allowing him to have the open the CT side, we were both kind of confused because he is the kind of linchpin playmaking AWPer that you need on your team sometimes to create chances out of nothing. And he's been consistently solid in this event, I would say. They're going to need to rest on him a little bit more, though, I think, if they want to pick up this map. Kaze has an AWP of his own, but nowhere near as much utility on the CT side of the map.
Although this is a right call. There are 3 guys in the B bomb side. Kaze trying to find something. His teammate's going to smoke. That's a strange smoke there, because Kaze was going in for the peak, but his teammate just smoked it off. That's kind of curious, but he's going to fall back. 3 guys still in the A bomb side. Fancy going to be playing the rotator. Has Moe on the passive road, trying to make something happen over in B, trying to sell something there, and it's actually going to work, is it now? Just 1 guy remaining in the side, but Kaze knows it's going to be the A play here, and Kaze with the op finds one. Get more. Whoa, what a shot from Kaze, but finally gets taken up by Arcast. 3v3. Bomb is going to get planted though, and now the retake is on.
Flash Gaming have got close before with retakes, but You have to feel like the positions for Immunity may be too solid. There's no smoke. He desperately wants smokes in these kind of situations. There's an incendiary, but it's already been thrown out. He's not going to yield too much, but here comes Carson and Attacker, both getting kills of their own. Moe, the backside of bathrooms. Bombs planted for him. Incendiary goes right behind him, though. It's enough to get him out of position, but he's already got himself a kill, and Moe's not going to get the clutch this time around. Attacker has a kit, he has time, and Flash will take a 4th round, but it's at great cost. He lost 4 players.
Expensive round indeed, but Kaze coming alive here. Although it was just 2 kills, was 2 very crucial, especially the second shot. This was fast as hell. Burn and Gratisfaction getting taken down, and Flash Gaming, yep, they do get another round on board, but their money is just being kept at bay by Immunity. No matter, even if they're losing the rounds, they're getting the bomb down, and they're just getting at least 3 to 4 kills even if they lose the round. So Immunity, 4 rounds, the score's still tied, but 4 rounds on the T side, with 8 rounds played so far, it's still a great start for the Australian side here. And Flash Gaming, they're really struggling to close these rounds out.
Definitely, and as you highlighted, even the rounds that Immunity are losing, they're getting very close. They're taking Flash to their limits. So will be another bite for Immunity, no problems. Flash Gaming down to their last dollars. As you can see highlighted with the only 1 kit, a couple players with very low utility. Immunity, nothing out of the ordinary here, but have a look at Summer. This is allowing them to stack the rest of their defense on B. He's getting so much information for his team.
Oh, but they're actually going back up connector.
Oh no.
What? Oh. Oh my god, the timing. The timing. They're going to find themselves an empty A bomb site, and they think it's B.
This is always the danger of this play.
Yeah.
It's just that Immunity have had the perfect timing.
Just timing off the gods and Immunity, all 5 of them making the way. Now they know. Now they know it's going to be an A play, and they just might reach there in time. The smoke's rating, and this is going to be the time right now.
2 massive rotations, a game of cat and mouse, but it seems like it's going to be default at the bitter end. Burnout UK with a kill, Gratisfaction with one of his own, and Moe, everyone chiming in with frags this round. Gifting the site for the plant, and Kaze and Summer will just get the hell out of there. They're going to save Immunity with a successful round.
I just love how Flash, like Summer, went for such a great play. He got it perfectly right at Immunity. At that very moment, like, let's go back to A. To connect to those watching. That is just, oh man. I
kind of wish, like, a part of me that I like to bury deep. Out of context, that sounds a bit odd. But a part of me that I like to bury deep inside is, was kind of hoping then that Immunity would just go straight to A and plant the bomb, and see like this collective realization for Flash Gaming that they basically outplayed themselves in every way possible.
I wish we had player cams as well. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, just like you just seen the collective facepalm, like a wave of facepalms.
Like a tactical facepalm. Like,
yep.
But yeah, Flash Gaming outplayed themselves that round, so it is going to be 5 rounds on board for Immunity. I got a feel for them. I really liked what Fancy did there, just pushing in and getting some info plays. But now he's going to be paranoid. He's like, oh yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that ever again, at least for this. the remainder in Kaze, who have managed to salvage the M4 and the AWP from the previous round. So they have something to work with, although for Karsa, Lovey, and Attacker, just a P250 and a couple of CZs.
And already 2 players have felt the force of Burnout UK's AK, and he was one of the, I'd say, more timid players on that first map. He didn't get a great deal going for him. So to see him step up now, one of their main players of yesterday, is it's going to be a big confidence boost for Immunity if Burnout UK starts to fire on all cylinders. He's certainly someone to be very weary of.
Absolutely, and he was kind of quite an inferno as well.
Yep.
So yeah, if he just goes off here, Flash Gaming, they could be in for a world of pain. But 3v4, Karsa with a P250, and he's over at B, and Kaze, he's going to be seeing a lot of action here. He's got the op, he's got a Molotov, he's got 2 flashbangs. Can he go off?
You feel like in these situations, it pretty much has to be him. As good as Summer is, Kaze is in the right position to strike. Very frustratingly, he's just a couple millimeters away from seeing players. Now there's so many angles for him to cover. he's almost spoilt for choice at this stage. There's a lot of nades that are being exchanged, including incendiaries, and fair enough, Kaze does come through the kill, but he's traded out instantaneously, and Burn, are you okay? With a third in the round, leaving Casa and a lonely P250 to try and make something happen out of nothing. Immunity, odds-on favorite to take a 6th round.
I mean, that position Kaze was in, I mean, those are the rounds where, like, you know, you see a team's opper like really go off, get a double kill, get a triple kill, save the round for his team, and he just been feeling a little off here. Yeah, he did hit a couple of great shots, but the consistency is just not quite there yet. And especially considering the spot that these guys are in right now, Flash Gaming are in, he needs to really, you know, be the player that they need him to be, as Karsa picks up the AWP somehow. And he will be able to salvage it, although it is going to be a tactical pause getting called here.
That's an impressive take, though, and AWP really is one of the best situations that they could have asked for, so I assume he'll drop it to Kaze, who has enough funds to maybe even go for a bit of Kevlar. What is the play here? Attackers ended up buying CZs, leaving themselves quite low on funds on a couple of the players, but obviously it is a tactical timeout for Flash. They're going to rummage together some master plans and see what's been going wrong for them.
Oh no, for Immunity?
2.
2 rounds, alright,
Yep.
so yeah, they're going to get $2,400 next round. So yeah, I just, I'm not so sure about why Attacker has gone for armor as well, but curious as well to see Summer wielding the op there. He's bought up armor as well for that.
Maybe based off his spawn. It's the only thing I can think of here. But his spawn is not that great. I mean, he's got a decent enough spawn for long, but nowhere else for a fast peak.
That's a curious decision. Although, yep, here we go. Down pause is coming in. So, Lovey, Summer, and Attacker, all of them buying up some Kevlar. Nothing on Kaze, nothing on Casa, and the op, interestingly enough, it's in the hands of Fancy, who I've seen him op in the past. I mean, he's not that bad with it, but like it's curious that you'd probably want to keep in the hands of Kaze. But yep, decision has been made. It's going to be Fancy who is going to be wielding the op, and 3 men over at long. This is interesting because Immunity, knowing that Flash Gaming are probably in an eco or just have pistols, you would be, as on the T side, you would be looking to go long, you know, trying to take advantage of the AK-47s and the weaponry that you have. So Flash Gaming probably trying to counter that, but instead Summer is going to take a bit of damage. He will fall back and drop the op over to Lovey. It's all about trying to play around the op right now for Flash Gaming.
Yeah, pass the parcel right now with the op. Everyone's having a go with it. No kills in the early stages of the round, which honestly will just favour Immunity even more, you'd have to feel. Very passive anti-eco round. They know roughly what's up against them. So much on the line. I mean, of course, again, Flash Gaming wouldn't be knocked out the event if they were to lose this, but Immunity get a fast track across to the upper bracket finals, so effectively 1 less game to worry about, which is pretty big in double elimination bracket.
And at the same time, it guarantees at least 1 Australian team will make it to the major qualifiers, which is something not many people expected this time around because of you know, the hype behind Tildu and Flash Gaming. But Renegades grinding it out and winning a crazy 3rd mapper against Tyloo, and right now Immunity showing up against Flash Gaming. Great entry into the side. Their attacker does manage to get 1 kill before it gets taken down, and it's all on the Kaze. The op has been taken out of the equation, but Kaze is gonna somehow manage to steal it back for himself. Finally, the opper will pick up the op, and he's getting hunted down though.
1 health. Gust of wind will take him out of this round. Does connect the shot onto Wizard. But again, can't really get excited about anything to do with this because Immunity have already won the round. The round is already put to rest. 7 rounds already on their T-half. Flash Gaming will have a bye. But the fans haven't really been that keen to them.
I think that's such a... I think it's a really big thing that Kaze has gone for the M4 buy, although he had money to go for the op and for the armor buy. The fact that he's stuck with the M4, although he was bought on as a designated opper for Flash Gaming, I think it speaks a lot of his mindset right now. He's just not feeling it. And I'm not sure if he's taking this particular call or if his car's just like, no, that's not op for the time being. Let's just try with rifle, something of that. But they are starting to get affected by this. At least Kaze is, I'm sure, getting affected by the fact that he's been a little bit ineffective with the AWP.
Yeah, on both maps. It's not just like he's had a downward trend here on Overpass. He really struggled in Inferno. He was one of the weaker members, and I haven't really seen an AWPer, decide to go against the idea of having an AWP since maybe Mouse with Oscar. Infamously when he was throwing the AWP around, he's like, I don't want any part of it. Get away from me. It's poison chalice. But Kaze's had opportunities. I mean, maybe it's just a case they wanted more utility, but I feel like in this kind of a situation, you need your star AWPer to prove to be just that, to carry you through these rounds. He's been doing a great job with his AWP, but hasn't really had any competition.
Absolutely. And Overpass especially is a map where the AWP can do a lot of work, especially on the CT side. And the fact that although they keep going for it, they just keep struggling holding on to this bomb site in Immunity. They're just having so much success in the A bomb site. It's not even funny here. Although, I think it's the first time we've seen this boost coming out from Flash Gaming. And Summer is going to get the first opening kill. Finally, at least an opening kill going the way of Flash. However, still a long ways to go. Kaze is going to be... I think he blocked himself out there. And he's just going to come pushing in. Kaze, though, he's going to get the kill onto Bird with his back turned towards him. He's looking for more here. And it's going to be Moe who's going to find one, but Attacker with the trade. Gratisfaction finds another trade of his own as well. And Summer, though, gets dropped by Wizard. Now it's a 2v2. The bomb is going to get planted with 8 seconds remaining on the clock. And Carson Lovey on the retake.
That's just straight up poor crossfires being established. Maybe Flash Gaming will still come back into this round and make it theirs. Gratisfaction narrowly missing out on his shot. He's going to have to be very cognizant of the fact 2 players are about to push him. He goes for the pop Flash, but that costs him his life. Flash will get the round, but there's a couple of very sketchy moments there on Long where it seemed that they were peeking one by one as opposed to together, so they didn't get the avenging kills. Immunity ultimately pushed their way and imposed their will purely off the basis of a couple of mistakes by Flash Gaming, but at least they remedied the situation and won the round anyway. Yeah,
at least in the end they went for the double peak together, ensuring Gratisfaction had no chance to clutch that one out. So 5 rounds on board for Flash Gaming. The AWP, again, back in the hands of Kaze. Let's see what he does with it this time around. For Immunity, I don't think they're going to be too rattled, to be honest. They have enough weapons. I mean, they have everything to work with, like 4 AKs, an AWP, 4 mollies, smokes, flashbangs. Just the only thing missing right now is a kitchen sink. 7-5 as well for them on the T side here on their map pick. And Kaze now aggressing out towards New Fountain, trying to get a pick. However, there's no one to spot out, but at least he does have information to feed to his teammates.
Info, of course, very important. Still very early in the round, though, so information not quite as valuable now as it would be if a minute was took off the timer. But it seems like Immunity don't care too much about the time. They're going to push through right here, right now. They're coming through Monster. A bunch of utility already expended. They line up, and Lovey nearly gets a double spray. Instead, Moe is out on short, being tagged up from the backside. That may very well have actually been his own teammate, judging from the trajectory of where it came from. But Lovey is going in with the M4 once again. 2-on-2, still a minute to play with. Feels like it's much later in the round, judging from where these pieces are on the chessboard. But Gratisfaction, that's one hell of a headshot onto Lovey. Had no chance. Kaze, could he pull off a miracle play? Is this his moment to show us what he's capable of doing? Headshot will take Gratisfaction out, and he wasn't too far away, you feel, from that no-scope, but Moe is going to pick up a 4K. And the Flash Gaming, they are broke again.
They are broke again. The Kaze, he gets the first shot in, and he had no idea where Moe was. We're just curious as to why he just dropped in straight out in the open, but well, Nose can't do that to you as Flash Gaming. They're going to go for the force here. I think they're just fed up. CZ's UMP on Kaze, a couple of Molotovs, a couple of smoke, a couple of flashbangs, and armor all around. But 14th round, they've gone for the force, and that means if they lose this one, they're not going to have any money as well for the last round. And this is probably looking very good for Immunity. Opening kill comes from Wizard, finds one, not able to get a second kill though, as Fancy is gonna get the trade. One guy remaining right behind the tree, but Burn is gonna perforate the tree and gets the headshot onto Kaze. 2v4 now, and although Urcast is just on 1 HP, they do have the 2-man advantage, and they're still gonna be coming in, pushing in towards Long. And Carson might just hear this.
For the time being, though, it is one-dimensional in the aggression from Immunity all up Long, so if Carso were to push around the back of Long, maybe he could get something for himself. Look at that, the carpet of fire on the site, making sure there's no pesky CTs lurking in the shadows of A. Cast is trying to tap his way to victory with the CZ. Urcast is very low, won't be falling this time around. And judging from the fact that Flash Gaming have really very little money, it would be worth saving these 2 CZs and armors, because the alternative is pretty bleak.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be the second round. Last one is kicking in. That's going to be just $1,900. There's nothing much to work with. So they just try to hold on to these guns. And one thing about Immunity, I gotta hand it to them. The buddy system they have going for them has just been phenomenal. Just barreling in, strong arming the way towards sites, towards these choke points. And Flash Gaming just getting caught off guard. Moe finds attacker as well. Right now they just need to save the CZs. But yeah, Karsa is going to be the sole survivor, the lone survivor for Flash Gaming, and the money is it's pretty abysmal. Deagle might see a couple of CZs. I don't think they can go for the UMP buy. Lovey probably can, yeah. But apart from that, this should be the round for Immunity. 10-5. It could be just a huge lead for the Australians. They're already a map up, taking Inferno 16-14, which was Flash Gaming's map pick, and now a great opportunity to go and play the winner brackets finals against their country mates, I'd say, from Renegades.
And with this being Immunity's choice of map, the T side, they've got some solid strats set in play. They're going to be comfortable when they go on the CT side, I should say. They're going to be very comfortable with their plays, the aggression that Overpass can offer you. Connector control can be so vital, as we're seeing in this round from Flash Gaming. So it's not going to get any easier for the Chinese side.
And the interesting thing is how Immunity, this is just such a perfect read. They're walking into an empty bomb site. And it's Lovey says, hello there. Stops over to the UMP, but the smokes haven't deployed. They're going to find themselves, I think they're a little paranoid. They're like, why is there no one in the site? They'll take a while to get the bomb done. Interesting, they're going to plan for Bank, which is slightly curious.
And maybe trying to take the potential flank off the table, allowing them to all focus onto the bank side. This is where the AK should be destroying. 2 kills for Burn. Wizard is there on top of it. Urkas going to line them up and knock them down, and Immunity have picked up the double digits in the first half. Convincing, to say the least. And Flash, they are reeling. They are very close to being knocked down to lower brackets.
10-5, 10 rounds and a T set. That is massive. That is just massive Immunity. And here's the thing, from at least what I saw, what they did in T set, it wasn't like Immunity tried anything fancy. They didn't go for some crazy executes or double fakes or triple fakes. It was just basic, solid reads, some pretty default plays. Like, for example, the number of times they went long when they knew Flash Gaming would probably be on a light buy or forced buy, would probably just have pistols. And they read it perfectly. They were reading the economy really well. They went for some really smart plays. And I think, it's been like 3 rounds, I guess? At least 2 rounds where they walked into an empty bomb site. Yeah. Immunity, and also playing the buddy system really well. Even though the trades do take place, Immunity always come out on top. And they obviously control the bomb site. So more than Flash Gaming doing, more than Immunity trying anything special, I think it's just about Flash Gaming not really having any decent setup here. And speaking of walking into an empty bomb site,
Flash Gaming are going for it. What I will say is Immunity have the utility to maybe go for a retake, but they're losing players at such a fast rate, it may not end up mattering. Just what Flash Gaming needed, just what they required. Kaze is going to go in for a second, just 1 health remains for him. Moe and Burn, are you okay? Going to both be coming through from the short side. It's asking a lot though. The crossfire is going to be established and very dangerous for them to deal with. It's just got a whole lot worse. Burn, are you okay? Falls by the wayside. Moe is able to get the 1 kill. And of course there is a bit of worth to him pulling back from this situation, not only because he's getting kills, but because what he's ultimately trying to do there is save the Kevlar on the kit, which is a little investment he put into this round, but the kills were a nice juicy bonus in the end.
and everyone dies in the end there as well.
Yeah, Kaze also died, he only had 1 health, and P90, alright.
So Immunity will go for the force buy. Of course they will. No, we did save the kid.
Yep.
He's got $2,700 as well. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he went for the UMP. There we go, UMP. And he purchases the Kevlar, the head armor as well. So Deagle sees at 5.7, P250. We've got all the pistols in the house and the UMP on Moe. And for Flash Gaming, 3 AK-47s. The P90 on Kaze. Hell yeah. Let's go, boys. I get so excited when I see that.
I'm not sure whether to be scared or not that you're so excited, a prospect of a P90. But Kaze has already shown that he's happy enough to take it on Inferno. And yeah, just going back to the point you made, is this looks like it's going to be a bit of a slower start to the round. It was kind of meat and potatoes, no frills CS on Immunity's T side, very wholesome, just keeping it simplistic. And I can't help but feel that we'll probably see more of the same here from Flash as well. I don't think that they're going to be the kind of team that's going to go hell for leather and try any madness on this. I mean, it's typically, as you said before, they're quite a strategical team. They like to take their time. Casters, the brains behind the operation.
Do you feel a little like, do you feel to have recovered a little bit from the madness that was Inferno, at least watching Immunity's T side?
Yeah, this does seem a little bit more what you'd come to expect, but this is where things could get a bit more interesting, I suppose. I do feel like Flash Gaming will play fairly default, though, for the majority of these rounds. There is a player in Connector who's about to see some action here, and that's going to be Urcast with a 5-7. Just the one kill, but probably better than he was expecting to do. Moe, oh, it's not just the kill, it's also the bomb out in the open. He can't capitalize with his second kill, and this is where the noose should be tightened around the neck of Immunity, as there are multiple angles to watch out for. Wizard does have an AK, though, and we know his clutching is pretty solid.
What? Why would Fancy...
So, have you recovered yet, mate?
The Pro 90, on the other hand, has got a second kill off the round, Matters. That's what makes me happy. And Wizard's going to be taken down from behind. And Fancy. Come on. Come on.
That is like a proper bruh moment.
Bruh, come on.
Yeah, Wizard, I'm sure, was happy to see the barrel of the gun sticking around the corner. The freest of kills that he could be asking for. But Immunity are into an eco. This is Flash Gaming's gateway back into the map. Mac 10 purchased by Casa to get some money rolling.
Let's try to find out where a stack might be. And Immunity, 3 guys towards B, 2 guys probably going to push into its connector. Maybe not just one guy, but just USPs, maybe one P250 big purchase, and Lovey is going to have no trouble decimating them, just perforating their bodies with that AK-47 of his. Attacker finds burn. And that's going to be the round pretty much done and dusted. You're going to be maybe a little ticked off that the kills came from the AKs. They probably would have wanted the Mac 10 to just build up that SMG money, but a round is a round, and it's going to be round number 8 for Flash Gaming. Just 2 rounds separating them from Immunity.
These are the kind of rounds, though, that some players will hold on to the Mac 10, knowing that Immunity may go for some Kevlar without head armor as a result of the AKs. So we'll be curious. He actually gets 2 kills at the end of the Mac 10. So for all the issues I had earlier, no longer a problem, and now he will trade out to the AK. But I'm just curious how many players are going to have a lack of head armor, because especially very aggressive teams in the past have seen the likes of G2 do this, where they'll just hold on to Mac 10s for as long as they can to rinse through the CTs.
And if it works out, like, that's a huge bonus as well.
Yeah, and it is very dangerous up close and personal. If it lands headshots, it still will mow through people. No, not if there's head armor there. Mac 10 becomes really quite terrible. But the discussion is no longer required because he's gone for the AK anyway. Here's a tactical timeout.
Immunity. We do see Wizards gone for the buy. And just going to be M4s all around. The AWP is out on Kaze. I like the faith that they've placed in Kaze, though. Although he's not really been showing up this entire best of 3 series, but if he does, I think Flash, that might be just the small little edge that Flash need to get over Immunity.
And I think it's testament to Kaze's skill level that he hasn't really been showing us much, but he's still top fragging for his team with 14 kills. Yeah. He hasn't had those lights out moments. He's had a couple moments on the CT side. I'm thinking about from Truck where he got those 2 kills, very quick reaction speed kills.
And when in T side and pistol round, I think he got 2 or 3.
Right.
At least 2 kills, if I remember it right. So Immunity, UMP, as Gratisfaction, is going to be sacrificing the weaponry in order to go for some little bit of extra utility. Flash Gaming just coming in straight into the B-bomb side. Lovey's going to open things up. Wizard's going to fall, and look at Fancy charging in, goes for the spray, gets a double headshot as well, and that's round done and dusted.
Oh, we got a game, boys. That much is for sure, because Flash Gaming, they are showing no fear on this T side. Much better, fast, aggressive, ruthless plays. As Immunity finally get themselves some rifles on the board. Bomb planted, going to be trying to save. Flash Gaming now breathing down the neck of Immunity, just going to be 1 round behind.
Just one run behind indeed in immunity. They've now lost 4 rounds.
Yep.
4 rounds in a row. And with a 2 rifle save, they could go for the force here. Question is, will they or should they?
Greta's faction has just shy of $4,000, so he definitely could drop if they wanted to go for it. But again, I feel like it comes back to that debate of how much they prioritize the AWP in the next round.
And Greta's faction has been hitting some nutty shots with the AWP.
Exactly, and they're in no rush here. They still have a round buffer. If they were to force in here and lose, then they've actually screwed themselves pretty hard. So I think just holding off on the buy is probably the wiser decision. And they still do have a power play. They still have 2 assault rifles with Kevlar. They've actually gone for full nades on both Moe and Greta's faction. So it's not a foregone conclusion that this round is a loss. I mean, Flash should win the round, but Immunity have some pillars to play off.
Stranger things have happened.
Definitely, yeah.
As Burn with the Deagle. They have a double stack over in Connector. And Moe and Greta's faction, what can they do with those 2 rifles is a question. Flash Gaming trying to feel it out. They know that 2 guns have been saved, and they're not sure if Immunity have actually gone for the force buy or not. And a very, very passive play coming out from Flash Gaming. They are creeping up towards Connector. This could get a little ugly here. 2 CTs waiting for them.
Yeah, and they're actually at different levels too, and this is really going to screw the crosshair placement. If they focused Urcast, then the other player's going to kill them, and vice versa. And they're going to come through with 2 kills, and potentially a 3rd as well. He runs out of bullets. They're able to take down Kaze. Not just yet. And that could be the determining factor. If they took out Kaze, they have connector control. And those 2 players that push up short could have ended up dying as well. But Burn is not done just yet as he threads a 1D. Moe, 1-on-2, has a bit of utility to play with. Bomb's starting to get planted too. Will be finalized. They know where he is. Oh, he's throwing the Molotov. He still assumes the player's behind the box, but he's already jumped off. And Moe's chances now are dwindling away. He doesn't even have a kit either, by the way.
Yep, just the smoke to work with, and he is going to... Oh, no, he's not going to smoke up the bomb. Instead, he's going to come pre-fire in the corner. Okay, I think might just drop there for a second. It was weird.
Yeah, your mic just derped a little bit.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's all about.
Anyway, so Moe there, he was so...
Okay, I think Blair's going to try and fix his mic as it keeps randomly going off. 10-10, the score. AWP has been elected by Greta's faction, who has a decent spawn to have a quick look up through balloons. How's it going?
Well, I think...
Full fix. Sweet.
Fix.
So as we expected, Blair, it's going to be an AWP pickup. Immunity with a full buy. This is the reason they didn't go for the force in the last run. And we're all even. Neck and neck.
Neck indeed. Greta's faction with the AWP, and for Flash Gaming, that was a very expensive round. Again, 3 guys getting taken down, no AWP on Kaze. It's going to be 5 AKs, but then they have utility as well to work with. This round is going to be a pretty crucial round to decide who's going to win the next, you know, who's going to come out in the lead here. Because right now it's a very neck to neck. It's very reminiscent of Inferno. Although Immunity, they are on the CD side. They do have the a slight advantage, I'd say, considering the map that they're playing on right now. As Flash Gaming, they've slowed it down a lot. They're doing what we expected them to do, you know, take it much more slower, try and play a little bit more of Astralis-esque style of play, I'd say. Just try to get a lot of map control, like work in pairs, just trying to push Immunity back a bit, but Immunity, they're having none of it. They're still holding semi-aggressively, I'd say. Burn going for the late boost. He might actually catch him off guard. He takes a sweet time, finds one, finds a second kill as well. Oh, that has just gone horribly wrong for Flash Gaming. What perfect timing from Burn.
Not just because of the kills, but because they saw the bomb as well, so it allows the other players to rotate off A and come B. What a round this is going to be as Burn UK comes through for the full house of frags, in with 3, Urcast with 2, and just in the nick of time, because I was about to say that I completely agree. On the CT side, you're going to be favourites to take the bulk of the rounds, but Flash Gaming coming through into that round had a much better economy. You can see even though they lost that round, they still have players after a full buy having nearly $4,000 between Lovey and Summer. So that is huge. Not only to win the round, Blair, but to keep all their players alive as well.
Absolutely. And small little things, like again, it's it's always 2020 in hindsight, but a small little thing about when they push in towards Gratisfaction just aggressing there trying to get a pick, but he's going to fall back, although he does spot a player. And yeah, coming back to what I was saying, that round when Burn got boosted up, we didn't see anyone from Flash marking the position, marking towards short. They all assumed that no seed is going to come out any moment right now, and they all walked in together towards tunnels. If you saw, a top 20 team, for example, doing what, being in that scenario, Flash, where you would always have had one guy, always marking teammates back, and while he would cover off, the exit, so to speak. But small little things, right, that kind of cost you these rounds, and that's what Flash is facing right now. They're not playing against Chinese teams anymore. They're playing up against one of the best teams in Australia.
Yeah, and because at most you're going to peak with 2 players on short. It's very close-knit, it's very claustrophobic. You don't want to end up shooting your mates in the back of the head. So there's 3 players there that he spotted. 1 short tunnels, and the other 2 were in short itself. Completely agree. There's no use in all 3 people tunnel visioning on the same part of the side, and that cost them dearly in the end. But they're going to have to just sweep that aside, say that's in the past, let's focus on the here and now. Gratisfaction definitely just saw the head of Kaze jumping up and down. So now Moe's going to be giving some information. He's going to get the spray. It's a clear-cut free frag. No health lost in the process. Great pick for immunity. And only 30 seconds left. But there's a pretty huge entry from Casa.
That was a curious jump from Gratisfaction as well as Moe. At the back of the bank, but he's got the little gap to work with the smoke acting as a one-way, and it's going to be Lovey. He's going to get a trade, though. He's going to find Orcast, but Wizard coming out like a magician. Finds 2 quick kills. And it's all on the Casa. 10 seconds. There's not much you can do here.
Yeah, somewhere between slim and none. At least he dies before time, so he's not going to get wrecked financially. Well, that's a very small saving grace. So Lovey can afford, Summer can afford, Kaze if he goes for UMP. It's Attacker and Caster that are the issues now. Do they just hold off and get some pistols and go for a full buy in the next one? Only time will tell. But it is a tactical timeout for Flash Gaming.
Tactical timeout. And I'll be honest though, like, while Immunity have had a very good showing, like the comeback in Inferno and also the T-side and Overpass, was really some very good solid basic stuff. One thing which is kind of I wouldn't say shocked me, but surprised me is the fact that Flash, despite all the hype around, they've been no one's really seen them play, no one knows about the map pool, the map depth, etc., etc. We haven't really seen anything that crazy tactically from them so far. And considering how far Immunity have pushed them, you'd have thought by now they might actually bring something out from that secret playbook of Carsos, like something crazy, like a double fake. Could be anything, but so far all we've seen is just kind of run and gun. You're just trying to rely on individual aim and just kind of explode into a side, hoping Fancy gets a double kill or a triple kill. Or yeah, they haven't really shown anything at all, to be honest.
It does seem like a one-pronged attack where there's no plan B, there's no plan C. It's either this works or we're basically screwed. We keep like that chicken earlier on, keep hitting our head against the wall until maybe we break the wall down. I
think plan A was winning Inferno.
Yeah, and as soon as that capsized, well, now we just got to hope for the best and cross our fingers. And it has been closer than I actually anticipated. I thought Immunity, especially early off on that first half, would walk away with this, but Flash Gaming winning the second pistol and converting the subsequent rounds obviously gave them a huge boost back into this map. If Immunity win that second pistol, I think this could already be done, to be completely honest with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing which I've noticed, like, teams struggle with are the pistols, Australian teams. It's very up and down, very iffy. Sometimes they just go off, or sometimes they just get completely massacred by, I think we saw this with Renegades as well on a couple of those maps. In the meantime, though, Deagle, Tech 9 on Casa, and a couple of AKs, and those AKs are on Fancy, and Attacker, the 2 ex-star players of Tai Lu. And they need to really step up here, because this has been a force buy, and they need to somehow convert this, or else Immunity just might run away with the map and with the game.
They had the choice of going for the buy now or getting a better one in the next round to try and get this as close as possible. So this is a huge round. This is a fulcrum point, a seesaw round. And that flashbang is perfect. The Burn UK comes through with 2 kills. And he could be on for a third, and indeed he shall. The bomb's dropped out on a horrible spot. Carter only has a Tech 9 left. He's going to dispatch of Urcast, but he gets eviscerated by Burn UK, who's picked up a 4K. And, well, that round simply backfiring.
Yeah, that flashbang was just absolutely pristine. There we go, the replay. Oh, just perfect. Although he did get blinded as well, but he spotted them out the second before it just went all white for him and picks up a third kill as well. And yep, 13 to 10. And Flash Gaming, that buy was very crucial indeed. And although they are now in the 4th round loss bonus, and they're just calling tactical timeout after tactical timeout.
I guess if you've got them, use them. But that flashbang was so slick, because even though Burn UK gets flashed, it's such an easy pre-fire angle. You know, you can come straight down, you can have your crosshair in the right place, flashbang lands on you. It's such a close-knit environment in that tunnel. You're going to hit more times than you're going to miss, basically. Yeah, and even if players are jumping up and down, you're still going to severely weaken them on the retreat. So intelligent play and well done. And again, he was absent on Inferno. He's now on 25 and 15.
Absolutely. That's wow. Burn, are you okay? Is back. He was monstrous yesterday.
He was the key player, I think, yesterday.
He was absolutely. And 13 to 10. Flash Gaming. They're going to go for the pistol armor buy. They are allowed that because it is going to be, I think, 5 rounds in a row now. Max loss bonus is going to be kicking in, so they will be able to go for the buy. But by then, Immunity will get to 14 rounds. They'll have a 4-round lead. The Flash, though, right now it's okay.
Swing and a miss. I like that he watched it as well. It's like,
like a slow motion sort of thing.
I regret my decision.
Can you get a replay of that later?
There's actually a perfect picture that Natu was passing around of a broken man, and that was definitely his expression. That's an in joke, but screw it.
Wizard. Insodink finds one. Mo is going to burn a man alive in the meantime, but Attacker living up to his name with that easy finds 2 quick kills. And they just might be able to get the bomb down here, although the flank is coming in real quickly indeed from Burn. Are you okay? Taps away, finds Kazi trying to get the bomb down. Now Karsa, he's going to get something done here. 1v3. He's trying to at least get a little bit of extra money, and he just gets it down in the nick of time, completely white. And Mo, we will have no trouble executing him. But for Flash Gaming, it was just pistols and armor. They get the bomb down, so they have some money to work with. But right now, it's not money that's the question. They need to string a few rounds together, because Immunity, ladies and gentlemen, 2 rounds away from pulling off the upset of the tournament.
Yeah, and in that round in particular, I think Flash Gaming pretty much hit their mission. They accomplished it. The mission was to get the bomb planted. As you say, had very little investment, so it's going to be full on buy here. And again, Kaze did have enough for an AWP and elects to go for an AK. So maybe some insight as to their plans. They do have full nades, though. Granite's Faction's going to go for another peek. We've already seen this before. Can he land it this time around? Isn't even given the opportunity. No one's really home.
Although, Karsa, he's going to be trying to do something. He's all by his lonesome, and 3 guys looking in his direction. If he can sell this, fine, but he's been spotted out. 2 guys across the rock, and Urkas is going to get the drop on to Karsa, the in-game battle of the in-game leaders, and Urkas coming out on top. But it's going to be the B play. He's bought them some time for his teammates, and it's just 1 guy in the B bombs. And although there is Wizard playing from Graffiti, it's going to be smoked out. There's 1 guy in the water, though. It's going to be Burn. Flashbang comes out. It's not going to blind anyone. It's still, however, somehow going to get the kill. Granite's Faction with the op. He's going to find an attacker. They're just falling apart like flies here. And they all get completely, utterly destroyed. Immunity don't lose a single man. I wish we had a caster cam right now just to see her face, but it's...
Immunity are playing some god tier Counter-Strike right now, but I've got to say, there's 2 sides to the story. Flash Gaming, they are looking pretty rough.
Yeah. This is not the Flash we thought we'd see, you know, with all the prep work, all the hype behind them, the way they played on day 1 was nuts. In the group stages, everyone's like, "Wow, these guys are playing some fabulous Counter-Strike," and suddenly, the second the pressure is applied, they just seem to have kind of fallen apart here. Attacker getting caught out with his pants down, and Burn will molest him all alone.
That escalated quickly. I guess he did, technically.
He kind of did. He didn't take any damage either.
No.
That's what happens in all session cases. But Moe looks the wrong way. He's got the AK out, though.
Gets both kills, of course. Why am I not surprised? Flash Gaming.
He gets a third. And Kaze, 1v4. GG. Well played. Immunity pull off the upset of the tournament.
And in fine fashion, too. It wasn't close. The first map ended up going a little bit closer than I anticipated, but this second map, Immunity, they put on a clinic towards the end. Their CT side started shoddy as a result of losing the pistol. Then they just showed what they were capable of doing. And I want to say Bernard UK finishes 28-15. Moe also 26-10. These two guys with powerhouse performances. Gratisfaction had a great performance on Inferno. Everyone's pulling their weight on Immunity. They are looking scary.
Absolutely. You know, by the way, now we have Immunity facing off against Renegades. Who would have thought of it? I didn't. I don't think any of us over the desk did, and this is just crazy. But we do guarantee, I mean, they do guarantee that at least one Australian team will be playing at the major qualifier. So next one is going to be Renegades versus Immunity. And here's the interesting thing. The last time the Renegades faced off against an Australian team was against Chiefs. We all saw what happened there. And the way Immunity are fired up right now, I think it's going to be one hell of a game.
Me too. I mean, we expected to see Immunity versus Renegades just under different circumstances. We thought it would be in the lower brackets, not the upper bracket, to potentially get themselves across to the finals. But that's enough from us too. We're both mind blown. Let's jump back over to Paul on the desk and see what they have to say about what we just saw.
Indeed. Absolutely mind blown. It is two Australian teams who reached the next round, but not the way that Vince said earlier on in terms of the lower bracket final. Instead, they're at the upper bracket final, and we're guaranteed at least one Australian team through to the offline qualifiers. Incredible stuff from Immunity as they dump out Flash in 2 games, looking very good indeed. Maybe they're the favourites entering that upper bracket final against their old mates against Renegades. We'll see a little bit later on. We will have that match for you up next, but let's just break down that last series with our main men here on the panel once more. Dust, impressive performance from Immunity.
Yeah, again, like really good T side. I think they won that first half 10-5, just playing standard to a T, like doing the basic stuff, but executing it very well. And again, coming out big in clutch situations. I think anytime you saw a close number situation, it was usually Immunity able to take it, with the exception of that second round we just watched. So that obviously plays into it. You know, a little bit of a comeback effort from Flash Gaming, showing some resilience, but then it was Immunity who kicked right back into gear, closed things down on the CT side. Never really felt like super threatened that they would lose. Like right when it got to a tie, they pulled right back out in front to close out the game. And yeah, now we have basically an all-Australian upper bracket final mixed in with a Serbian, an American, and a Mongolian.
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there and spoil it.
You know, got to give credit
Taking
to all
away
the
the gloss from Australia
Listen,
and New
I'm
Zealand.
American. If there's an American in there, you know I got to, show some love. But show some love to all the countries that'll be involved in upper bracket final.
There we saw a slight anomaly there. MP7 triple kill in a buy round, by the way, by attacker. Don't see that every day.
Nope.
Other
Through
than
smoke.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I was kind of disappointed about Flash Gaming. Their position is sometimes on the A-bomb side, especially on the CT side, where they would put themselves in very 100% committed positions where they'd be one and done. There's no chance for an opponent or teammate to be helping them, refragging, anything of that sort. Basically putting his team into a disadvantage 9 out of 10 times.
There's just no trading going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching some of those clips, you're just seeing multi-frag rounds from Immunity with very little response. And like they talked about on the casting desk, it's just like firing on all cylinders was Immunity. It was Wizard in the first map. This map, it's guys like, Moe coming up with big plays. Gratisfaction was great. Bernard UK was great. So definitely getting more production out of their full lineup compared to Flash.
Yeah, indeed. Good all-round performances. Let's find out what they made of it from the man themselves on the stage.
They live in North America. Yeah, I do still think, as an experience, they're still #1 team in Australia. And we'll see right now.
我们其实跟 Renegades 平时很少训练，因为他们一直是在北美的，所以我们这边的话还是边打边说吧。
好的，那就让我们一起期待到底谁是真正的澳洲一哥。Thank you。好，那我们马上休息一下，然后回到我们的这个下一场比赛中。
Okay. Short and sweet. And we're back at the desk once more. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get to hear that interview. But nevertheless, I'm sure Immunity were gracious in winning and obviously telling everyone that Renegades are much better than Immunity just to take the pressure off them. It's all a bit of mind games now between the Australians. Nice one, mates! I'm so happy that these two guys have gone through. No one on the panel said the 2 Australian teams could go through. I asked the question this morning. I won't take credit for saying I thought they would, because I didn't. And I really didn't think that either of them were going to get through, because that was the basis of what we've seen over the last 2 days now, too, wasn't it? The fact that Chinese have looked very strong, haven't had to do too much, they came through very easily in the groups. both these teams now, these Australian and New Zealand teams, came through having had to come through the lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, you said it pretty well yourself there. Not sure what we can add, apart from the fact that still, I mean, the difference between these teams are quite narrow. So, again, it's the difference in it's going to be just a round or two going the way of one of the teams, and this is how it swings. It's going to be Immunity and Renegades fighting off each other. And I think this next one here is going to be where also we're going to see some mind games in both matchups. The Chinese teams, when they play each other, I remember last minor we saw VG and Tyloo go at it. It was probably one of the most horrible game of Counter-Strike in terms of like tactical perspective, but it was one of the most stunning games of Counter-Strike I've ever watched, especially a game on cash.
And this one's got extra spice because you've got ex-team members from the old team in the new team, so there's going to have some more spice in this one as well. Let's wrap things up on this particular matchup. We've got the Mummy MVP for you this time. He asked the question, Burn, are you okay? He was definitely okay, more than okay in that last game. Impact rating of 6.06, 28 frags on the board, as well as 5 trades and 6 opening kills as well.
I think this is one difference that this Immunity team has to, let's say, to a Tyloo, for example, who always has the same MVP. These guys keep rotating the MVP, and I think that's a very, very good sign for them, because that means that you have people producing in the impact rating categories, which is a lot of different things that are taken into account and becoming the MVP. So yeah, it's a good thing for Immunity.
Absolutely. We're headed to a break right now. When we come back, we'll be ready for our grand final, and not the grand final of the entire tournament, just the upper bracket part of that as our final matchup of the day. And if you're just tuning in, you might be surprised to learn that it's Australia versus Australia. We'll see you after the break.